I wanted to talk a little bit about what I thought was one of the more controversial decisions your commission made, or Boundary Commission made, which was hiring Kimball Brace in the first place. And it was the only time I saw, like, let's say you and Nick Freeman in hard opposition. And so I wanted to ask what your thoughts are on how on that process. What were your thoughts going into that?
So if we were to take we only got 2 bids back.
Yeah.
And if you were to take the names off of the bids, there was a clear choice.
Yep.
And let's even just take the redistricting part out of it. The precincting section. Yeah. So after the state does its work and then the cities and towns do their work, then the next line of work is to draw the precincts. And that's the polling places.
Right.
And every board of canvassers or 39 cities and towns will eventually have to create polling places and the lines in which people are going to vote.
Yep.
And if you just look at the precincting section of each of those bids, it was, a few lines in the second bid and an entire page documenting detailed exactly how they're going to draw the precincts.
Interesting.
And that's really the most important part of all of this. If you think about it, this is, you want to ensure that voters are going to get the right ballot.
Right.
Right? Like, it's really important that voters are in a precinct that defines where they are. There's been court cases and challenges across the country for that issue alone.
Right.
So there was no question for me when I was looking at it that way. The second way is that they have done the work before, not only in the state, but in Providence. They did Providence last time. They have a real intimate knowledge of the communities. Ryan Taylor, who is the one who draws the maps mostly, I think he knows the city and state better than a lot of the residents here across. I mean, and he's here on the ground. The second consultant wasn't going to be in person for the most part.
Right.
And we would have to pay a lot extra to have them be in person.
Right.
So, not that I knew it was going to happen, but I was anticipating challenges with Wi-Fi and with technology in some of the public hearings, and I knew that I wanted the consultants to be with us, and if it was going to be virtual, I just didn't know how that was going to work.
Interesting.
And again, I just was like weighing a lot of options and thoughts. So having the intimate knowledge, being on the ground, really being on the forefront of understanding the technology, understanding the tools, understanding the data and the information, knowing the law and the legality behind it. I think that, it's hands down. And they're really talented in the work they do, and really talented in taking all of that information and taking all the different layers and actually finding things that work. I mean, they gave us 4 different maps initially, and like varied maps, right? And so, and each of them was legal and viable from not only the new population, but the original population. And then the whole map was viable.
Right.
So, which, you want it to be under a certain level of population deviation, because it has to withstand court challenges.
Right.
So to balance all of those things, I think takes this very special skill set, and really saw that in the proposal, and then also in the work that they were doing. So
that's really interesting. I had like a lot of stuff about election data services, right? The consultant Kimball, because I thought there were times when he was dishonest during the state level hearings, right? Where he would say things and they were just very obviously not true, and I would call him on that, and occasionally. But at the same time, I also felt that the direction for how he behaved came from the commission. In your case, we got good results because he took direction from your commission. In the state case, we got different results because he was taking direction from the state commission, right? So I was hesitant to like the idea of hiring him at first. I think I had a lot of Nick's concepts in mind when I was doing that, but then as it worked out, it seemed to be the right decision in the end. So
I think it was. It was, and we heard from city councilors and who really liked working with Ryan and I in that way, where it was just really about listening. And,
Right.
you know, then we'd leave the meeting and sort of show them, you know, this isn't going to be, we can't move this here, we can't do this because this means this whole thing is going to shift this way. And they're just explaining to folks the realities of what, you know, moving things around does.
Whenever I spoke to Ryan, he was very open and honest too. I've never had an issue with his honesty, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right that it's about leadership, and I don't want to disparage the General Assembly because I think they have a really hard job to do. It's, you know, many varying personalities, and you have to get a plan passed. So I think that it's really hard work, and so they're only managing the things that they you know, can manage, and so
I got that, and I don't want to put you on the spot on that anyway, but